You know, I really loved my father-in-law. He was a man among men. Albert took care of the cemetery from 1925 to 2004, the passing. At that point, I became involved in the cemetery. My name is Dick Watts. I'm chairman of the Roslyn Cemetery Commission.
One of the unique things of Roslyn is our 27 different ethnic and fraternal cemeteries. The ethnic cemeteries came about as immigrants were brought in from Europe to mine the coal. As the mines closed and the people moved away to find better jobs and better opportunity, brush started to take over, just nature's way of reclaiming the land. Now, through Dick Watts and the Roslyn Cemetery Commission, he's gotten people to be inspired of their ethnic background and the uniqueness of the Roslyn Cemetery complex.
This hillside up here in Redmond was where they introduced me to the Roslyn Cemetery Commission. They asked me if I would come and work with them for a weekend. I said, sure. So we worked in that cemetery and hauled brush all day. And at the end of the day, we still hadn't got to the top of one cemetery of the 26. I said, well, if we do this, we're going to eliminate hazelnut from the entire complex. And everyone agreed, and so we all went to work on it as a team. Marvelous team. People who earnestly cared about the cemeteries came and helped. People like Albert Benzak, Fabian Kuchin, Jim Barrich, Jim Ash, people who worked in these cemeteries for the last more than that, 50 years. The hard work belongs to them because they pulled the hazelnut out.
In the lower corner of the Old City Cemetery, there's a lady named Myrtle Wilson. Myrtle came to town in the 20s with a circus, and she was the snake charmer of the circus.
And the snake was new to her, so obviously the snake didn't know what to do and it bit her. So Myrtle died.
And they buried her here in the cemetery with the promise that the next year, as the circus came through town, they would take her back to wherever her hometown was. And somehow they've never taken Myrtle, so we still have Myrtle, the snake charmer, at the cemetery. And somebody has adopted Myrtle's grave. There's flowers on her grave at Memorial Day.
But the cemetery is full of these stories. It's just, they're family. This whole cemetery is a family of sorts, and they're all interconnected with each other. It's an amazing thing.
My name's Jim Barrich, first generation Croatian. This cemetery was overgrown. There were hazelnut bushes down through the center of the cemetery. There were down by the baby graves, that was all overgrown with brush and cans, and people had left. As I mentioned earlier, I hauled 14 pickup loads of brush and garbage. There was an old fence up. I got donations to put that fence up. My brother Joe donated all the money that did this fence.
You know,
I personally
we take care of most of this myself, you see, riding more. My wife comes up, she takes care of the memorial and that. And Tommy helped us, all the family come up. But once one of my sisters died and left a little money, we could go ahead and put the fence up, and little by little, it kept going, and we worked at it. They all look nice. We worked on all these last year. I help everybody, and finally, they don't look like this. A lot of them look like them weeds back there. That's what the cemeteries look like.
Last year we found the names of 13 graves, unmarked graves previously, but now we know where they're buried, who's resting there. And when you can get people come in and talk to you about their history, what a neat thing.
There is a famous picture that was taken in Roslyn in the early 1920s of a second grade class in the Roslyn School that had 24 different nationalities in that class, which to me is such a rich history that it's worth celebrating. And I really like the fact that you can still see that, you can still experience it in this cemetery.
We've got a lot of history to share here, and we need to protect the cemetery at the same time we share it. You know, we need to protect those artifacts. 5 years, we got a good plan, but we're taking small steps. That it? I hope.